So our first project is going to be our insect collection project, and you will do this while we're fully remote. I will try to walk you through all the steps of putting things together, and then I will walk you through penning insects, and then you guys will turn it into the school when it is due. So things you're going to need, the first thing you're going to need to work on is getting your materials. You'll need a jar, a wide mouth jar. You want something where you can get your hand in if you need to. These kind of jars are great, but if you use something that's glass, you want to use some tape, and tape from about midway down. So if you happen to drop it while chasing insects, that you don't break your glass. I personally, if I had to tell you my very favorite, I'd say that it would be a peanut butter jar. They tend to be plastic. They tend to have a wide mouth. They tend to be the right size. So pay attention to the jars around your house that are almost empty and start wrapping. Some people have more than one, and it's great and very helpful. So you would continue on, and you would tape all the way to the bottom. If you need help with that, let me know. I don't think I'm going to keep going right now. So you're going to have your killing jar. You are going to have display box, and you are going to have a net. The killing jar, you tape the bottom if it's glass. Personally, I don't like the two lids when trying to collect bugs because it's just one more thing to handle. I personally prefer, if you do have two sets of lids or two parts of a lid, that you like glue it or something so it's just one thing. But most people don't find it to be too annoying. What you're going to do is after you've taped it, you're going to use some cotton balls and make a single layer at the bottom of your killing jar. Make a single layer. Then use a small amount of acetone nail polish remover. You do want it to be acetone. That is going to be the best agent. And pour it directly onto the cotton balls. You don't need much more than a capful. You do not want the cotton balls to be soaked. Then you're going to use a piece of cardboard, thin cardboard. I don't have any today, but take a piece of thin cardboard, cut it to fit, and put it in on top of the cotton balls. The point of the cardboard is to keep the insects from touching the acetone so they don't get discolored. Then you have your killing jar. You'll place the bugs in, you'll close the lid, and they will die. Some take minutes, some bugs take hours. Sometimes they're crazy and take days. If you don't notice a smell when you open it up, you might need to add a little bit. Your cardboard at the top should not get soaked with the acetone, so you don't need to add a lot, but you may need to recharge every once in a while. Once the insect has died, pull it out right away. You don't want it to stay in there too long. It'll mold, it'll get gross, you'll have a hard time finding them, and it's much easier to pen them when they're fresh. So that's how you kill an insect. The next thing you need is a net. A net makes capturing insects much, 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 much easier. You can get these types of nets for a couple bucks at Five Below or Dollar General. They're pretty cheap and easy. You can get a nice net, excuse me. If you feel this is going to be a project that you're going to do for a hobby, or if you don't want to spend any money, you can create your own. They won't be very pretty, but you can just get a stick of some kind, a broom handle, whatever you can get. A hanger, which is what's in here. Let's see, I can't move it, but hanger, and you just round the hanger out, take the bottom of the hanger here, and then you can use a pillowcase, you can use cheesecloth, and you can sew it if you have the ability. This person taped it. Taping can be a little awkward, but it works. You can staple it, whatever you need to do. But the point is if an insect lands, it's much easier to capture it like this, and it makes the whole thing easier. The next thing you need is a box. There are several types of box that are good. I personally really like these. I tend to think that they're a good size. These plastic ones, the scrapbooking cases, they tend to be deep enough. They tend to hold an entire collection in them, and they're not too terribly expensive. It can be any box with a lid. I would say don't do a shoe box if you can help it. Mice tend to get in there, and you don't want your insect collection eaten by mice. In a very nice one, there are layers in here. You could do these other kind of photo boxes. And if you need to, you can do pencil cases, but if you do pencil cases, you're going to need more than one. You're probably going to need 3 or 4. You want your boxes, if you need to have more than one, if you need to have more than one, you need to have them uniform in shape and color so they all go together. Then, inside your insect collection, inside your box, and this is an example of a former student's, it is a little messy at this point in time, but it does have what I need you to know, so that's fine. You want to put some styrofoam at the bottom so you can put your pens. And then you will pin your insects into the center. You're going to need some paper to make labels, and you're going to have 2 labels per bug. I'll go through what a good insect collection looks like and how to pin and how to label in a different video, but for this. If you look on Amazon, you can get the insect pins for a couple bucks. You want to get like a number 1. They're much smaller. They tend to be long and skinny, very thin. It's going to be the easiest to get through. You can really get most. Don't get the T-pens, and don't get the sewing ones with the big colorful dot at the top. It obscures the view. You will get the styrofoam. You'll get the pens. And you can put the styrofoam in your box. Another thing you can do is your spiders and some of your more soft-bodied insects, they actually don't do well in pinning. They tend to mold and get really nasty. So these little type of jars you can get, usually Hobby Lobby or something like that, are great. You just want to make sure you have a good lid that closes because you don't want it to leak everywhere. And then you will place some rubbing alcohol, isopropyl rubbing alcohol in there and close it up. And then you can stick the label on the outside. Here is an example of what the good insect pens come in. These are a 0. Again, you can get them at Amazon for pretty cheap. Those are the materials you need. Like I said, I will go through another one where I'll show you how to set everything up a little better, how to pin them. But the first thing you need to do is go to materials. If you find that the stuff gets pretty expensive, I have a few things left over from previous projects. Contact me. We'll set up a way. I'll get you some of this stuff. May not have everything, but I can definitely knock down some of the cost. Also, maybe pair up with somebody in the class. If you pair up with somebody in the class, like the cotton balls, you're not going to need that many. You can share that. You can share nail polish. You can share also isopropyl alcohol. You can share styrofoam because it usually comes in large stacks. There are things you can do, and even pens. You're going to need 35 total pens for your insect collection because that's how many bugs you need. Those are the things you're going to need. That's it for now. I'm sure there's going to be questions. Ask them. We're going to have our class meetings. Please ask lots of questions during those times. And let me know if you need any help. All right. Happy bug hunting.